was picking up some high premium stocks on my scanner, and we can start the discussion with the premiums and wheeling them and dealing them, but also just like this technical setups on these things and what you
Yeah.
think about them. I don't know if you follow any of these stocks, but I'd love to get your opinion.
Hims I did trade earlier this year back in May when it was kind of making some big moves. And as I guess they're kind of fallout with tr with the
Novo.
manufacturers, I've kind of stayed away from it a little bit till that settles out a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, Hims, I mean, it's kind of been a nothing burger for a while. We had that big sell off, and then it kind of bounced up here at the 51 resistance level, but
Yeah.
not much.
Yeah, I was playing back there in April, May, and then when we
Yeah,
kind of double
that was an
topped
awful
there,
move.
I
Yeah.
I jumped off of it there when we kind of double topped in early May.
Yeah, there's some I mean, there's some decent premiums here, like the $47. I don't know if I would really want to. I don't know if I want to buy it at 47. I think I'd be more willing to buy it down here below 40
Yeah, I think
again.
down there in that low consolidation around 25 might be the safer bet
You
right
think
now.
so?
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna wheel it, you want to be down at support. You don't want to be upside down,
Yeah,
um, as we talked about with Jack on Tuesday.
right.
Um, so that one's kind of establishing a downtrend, and it doesn't look like it's hit support yet. So I would be
Yeah.
I'm very cautious on Hims, even though it's got nice fat premium. I'd be very careful on
Yeah,
that
and there's
one.
a big, I mean, I don't know where you would find anything in between 51 and 38, really.
Yeah, and that's the risk right there. So if you could get nice premium down around 38 or even down in the 20s, low 30s, even the high 20s, that would be great. But right now that may be a wait and see. Is more of a put on the watch list. If we do get a
Yeah.
big fat drop, that might be an opportunity to sell some premium. But right now that's kind of I'm that's on my caution list.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's why it's on the watch list. Let's look at SMR. SMR is another ticker that is on the watch list.
That's absolutely ripping right there.
Dude, yeah. This is, yeah, it's been it was great. Um, I actually had this on my watch list, but I have like too many tickers on my watch list, and I missed this one like 2 days ago. And I was like, I'm probably not gonna with this.
Well, this is a good lesson on don't FOMO, fear of missing out. Don't FOMO into this right now. We're getting
Right.
close to a resistance, I feel like, or an upside target area. We have one right where we are on the smaller pullback there. We got through completing. We pulled back and we extended higher. Now
Yeah.
we may pull back again in a smaller fashion back into the 42 area, retest that breakout, 42,
Yeah.
44. But bigger picture could go up to 60, but I think we might get a pullback before we do that, or at least a consolidation. It could just pop up there. But again, that's more speculation, less actually trading some sort of reliable. I'm a trend pullback continuation trader. With no pullback, I don't get in.
Right. Right. It's hard to know like where a stock keeps going if it's reaching all-time highs. It's much easier when you have established price levels in
Right,
history, right?
right. And I'm a trend pullback continuation. So I look for that pullback to support, hold support, and then start showing signs of continuation. Then I'm usually attacking it right there. So.
Yeah. So, like you get like what Jeffrey said, 42, right? Right around here is what you're saying for a little bit of a
Yeah,
pullback right around this where the price action kind of settled.
Yeah, we had that double top kind of price action, and if it pulls back to retest those tops, that would be a point where you might consider getting in if you were going to go for the higher all-time high 60 target I just
Yeah.
mentioned, which would be
Yeah.
an extension off the big pullback it did from late November through April of this year. Yeah, that'd be a fib extension of that pullback right there you're looking at.
Yeah. Okay. So where do you set it? Do you set the fib extension here or
So
down here?
I go high. I'm using a fib retrace tool, and I go high to low, and then my first target is the 1.272 area, which is where we stopped dead cold and consolidated there in June, and then once we pull back and test the breakout, which was down there around 32, which we kind of did when we pulled back there
I actually
in
don't use the
July.
fib tool at all, so I'm trying to just like throw it up.
Yeah, I can share my screen real quick if you want me to, and
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, we'll just swap back and forth here. I'll just share it really quickly and just show it off.
Maggie got in an SMR at 550. That's pretty good, Maggie.
So we've got this high right here. We've got this low right here. I ran that fib tool right there. This was actually
Let's
the
see how you do.
indication we were going to go higher right there in May. We came up, tagged my 90% of the way to the 1272, which is my conservative exit.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of consolidated there for a few days and then popped the 1272, which is the actual target. Then we retraced, retested the breakout from back there, that high from back here in November, retested it right here. Didn't even get into it really. Now we're going on up for the next extension. That next extension may be up here, but on this smaller pullback, I do expect another pullback, maybe consolidation before we actually push on higher. That would be,
This is a custom fib tool. Do you have like custom variables on this?
yeah, I kind of like based on working with a lot of different Elliott Wave stuff and the Fibonacci Queen, Carolyn Baroden. I've kind of honed in on some custom fibs that I personally like and believe work more than anything else. I think that's what a lot of people have trouble with when they do Fibonacci analysis is they just turn on the default tool. It's got all
Yeah.
these pretty colors and
Yeah.
colors and lights
Yeah.
and
Any
you
colors
don't
work.
know you don't know which ones are real, which ones don't, are workable, aren't workable. I have these colored in kind of a color coded fashion here. The two blues are a classic support resistance zone with the pink in the center being the 618, which is my favorite point for price to bounce off of.
Interesting.
So on a big scale like this, we sliced right through that zone. I mean, we consolidated at the top of that zone, as you can see, and then broke on out.
Yeah.
And that was, this is classic price action right there for me and the way I use this tool. Now, what's interesting, if we jump down and look at this one up here on the 4-hour, maybe even go down even to a 1-hour chart. Yeah, there's the bounce right there. We get the same kind of price action right here on the smaller time frame. Right here. It's kind of interesting. See how we came up
Yeah.
to the top of that zone right there and consolidated and then broke out again.
Yeah, that's what's cool about the Fibonacci, I guess, is like fractal, right? Just
Yeah.
move it, whatever time frame you're looking at, it
And that's
tracks.
why I said we'll probably do a little consolidation here before we push on up
Yeah,
on the next move right there.
yeah, that's very cool. So folks are looking for it to go back to about 45 something and then and move up for SMR. I'm trying to let me see what the
And you can go back to your screen share if you want to.
yeah, I'm trying to see if there's any what the premiums are at all for this, if there's any good ones uh in that amount. So I mean
Yeah,
if you
for
go
me,
one,
that would be, for me on the 1 hour, I'd want to be down around 38. And since it's at 48 right now, there's probably not a lot of premium out there.
there's not. It's only about 120 bucks.
Yeah.
You have to go up to about 40 bucks to get anything over 200. So still
And
watching
this
them.
could
Also,
definitely pull back into that 38 area. So
also it's ripping right now, so maybe wait till it starts
yeah, as we
selling off.
mentioned on Tuesday, and in case anybody missed it, usually you want to sell your put premium on the big down days and
Yeah,
then sell your call premium on the big up days. And this is a big up day. So
yeah. Yeah, no, it's going crazy. Um, what's the next one? So uh first one's IONQ, which I personally don't I thought it was interesting. I mean, if it's big, it's gonna be big. It does look like it's breaking over a little bit of a like if the stories of quantum computing are real, this could be cool, but again, it is sort of a meme stock, I would say. I don't know how much. I guess they do have a little bit of revenue, but tiny amount. Um,
yeah,
Also,
we
we're
do have
heading
that.
into earnings here.
And we've got kind of a bull flag slash downtrend of lower highs cooking here since May.
Yeah,
And
if we go to the weekly chart, kind of just got to consolidate. I mean, I think if we that's why I had this line, this resistance line here. I mean, I do think if we break out here, which we sort of are, probably wait till Monday just with like OpEx today and stuff to do anything on this, but I could see us going at least, to another 55 with this or 50 or 48, maybe 48 midterm. Just that, I mean, we're broken out here over the resistance line. It's looking pretty good. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you do want to, if you were to want to sell like premium, I'm also seeing that. So for IONQ, not, I mean, it's so basically you have to be willing to buy it at 40 to get any significant juice out of it. Um,
And that's not really a bad spot to be with the uptrend of lows that it's had going since March.
and you go back here, and this was a really, I mean, you had this support zone, basically the same support zone here, and then the same support zone temporarily at the, back on in December. So going on going on 9 months now. This is a really seems to be a popular trading zone for IonQ. What do you think? You think it's going to go higher? You think it's going to go? You think it could pull back?
Somewhere in the 40-42 zone, and there's fair premium out to all the way down to 40 for next week. So
Yeah.
you could be in
Ooh,
the
I was
40.
looking at 15th. Let's see. Next
Yeah,
week.
if you just go out the next week, you could get $35 for it right now. It looks like 33, 34, $35 for a
Yeah.
40,
Yeah.
which
That's
would
pretty.
be a fair, I mean, it's not great. You may want to move up to a 40.5, a 40.50, and get 42 cents, looks like maybe.
Yeah, I
That
got
might be a
40
little
for
bit.
42 cents.
Yeah, 40, 42, like somewhere in that zone, maybe a little better place to be at 40.5. So it's a reasonable spot to be in right down there where the support was.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like we'll see what happens next week, but I mean, the fact that the markets were selling off hard today, the fact that something like INQ is still breaching over this resistance line and moving up, to me, it signals strength, for the ticker. Um, so we'll see though. We'll see. And then the last one is a personal favorite of mine, DK&G, right? Um, I think this is going to be a big stock. I don't think gambling's going away. This is a cynical play, I will admit, but I do think I've been listening to podcasts about sports gambling and I mean, it's like Robinhood, right? Robinhood is, making it frictionless to trade. The DraftKings makes it frictionless to lose a lot of money on betting. Uh, and they make sure you lose a lot of money because they kick you out if you don't. It's honestly they should need to be regulated better, I think. But especially heading into this to an NFL season coming up in a month or so, month and a half. Uh, I think that DraftKings could be really cool. And I was checking out the premiums on that.
Well, it's not any different than casinos. You're allowed to win some, but if you start winning like consistently, that you're out and you get
Right.
banned.
Right. Yeah. The problem is like you can't like it's friction to drive to a casino, whereas a DraftKings you can pull up your phone and just be like, oh, I'm gonna do a seven string parlay bet on this Buccaneers game or something.
Yeah. I I'm not a sports ball person, so I don't actually do much. I
I'm
don't really
not
know
either.
much about sports betting any at all. So
I'm not either. I don't bet. I don't really follow sports, but um I mean I do know this. Like I mean it's people people are obsessed with
oh,
it, right?
well, I
So
know like it's an addictive thing, just like drinking alcohol or smoking cigarettes or whatever. You can get into betting and it's addictive and it's not unlike the casino we play every day, the stock market.
right. Yeah.
See a lot of
It
people
is.
lose that game too.
Yeah. I mean, even this is like you look at your charts, it's like you get the pretty colors and stuff, and um, it's it's so true. And so you combine you combine something people are already addicted to, which is sports, with an app that people can you know
Yeah.
do another thing, trying to make money, which is also gambling itself is also addictive, that dopamine rush. I think it's going to be a powerhouse stock. I think it's undervalued. I mean, I longer term, I think this could be $100 stock. Um, just because it's the sheer volume of they're supposed to increase the revenue by like billions this year. So yeah, this is long term. Premiums actually aren't that good. I don't know why this really showed up on my scanner. Let me go to the 15th of August. You'd have to be pretty aggressive to get any good premiums on this one. But hey, I don't hate it. Just as a long term, I'm actually going to wait for a little. I want to pull back to 40 or so. I'm gonna go long at 40, personally with it.
It looks
So,
like they added about $600 billion in debt in Q1 over Q4. So they're
oh, did they?
see borrowing money to aggressively expand or something.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're going to, right? I mean, I think this is like, you know, this, I mean, sports, you think this is like the Robin? I mean, it is the Robin Hood for sport. I guess Robin Hood might be the Robin Hood for sports eventually too, but this is like the Robin Hood for sports. And if you think that, sports are just going to get bigger, right? There's more people watch it, more people watch it every single year. Um, I'm really bullish on this.
It
So,
looks like about 60% of the revenue came from sports and about 32% of it came from gaming, like some sort of iGaming, I guess gambling.
you bet on iGaming? That's crazy.
So that they're actually I actually putting in iGaming.
Okay, like putting some
With
bets down on League of Legends.
yeah, so 32% of the revenue came from that. So
That's crazy. I wonder if they're in Asia. I should do more. I should do some more research if they're like a because I mean Americans don't aren't huge on iGaming. I don't think unless they're like just kids doing Fortnite bets with each other, which could be the
yeah,
case.
I don't know. We could ask an AI agent to do some work for us.
Yeah. I'm gonna do a deep dive. We'll report back to you folks coming up here next week. So speaking of gaming though, there's actually we were talking about I was talking about this the other day. Unity is a big company. Roblox is another gaming company. Jeffrey, I'm curious if you have any input or thoughts on or beliefs on Unity or Roblox. Either of
Well, I
them,
think
if you
that
like them, if you hate them, if you don't care about them.
Unity and Roblox are two completely different kind of platforms. You might group them the same, but I've actually used Unity software and created a game for a weekend game competition in the past, and um, it's a professional tool. I mean, it
Yeah,
really is, and they they cater to not just gaming, but also like 3D visualizations, the VR and AR type stuff. They've got all that built in to their software, and it's a pretty nice actual development package
yeah,
for designed around building games. Now, Roblox, on the other hand, is like a platform designed for people to come in and build stuff online without much coding knowledge at all. And it's more of a gamified platform, gamified game building more games. So it's,
yeah.
similar sector, but different approaches to that. And Unity has just been beat down and possibly has a long-term bottom that it made there late last year. It's
Dude,
it's just
I think I agree with you. I mean, look, this is the demo. I don't, I don't know how many gamers we have talking with us today on the chat here, but this is the right. This is the democratization of gaming. Regular saw Jeffrey built a game by himself in one weekend,
yeah.
maybe with a couple people. There's professional people who are like shipping video games that are making millions of dollars, and they're using Unity to do it. I've used it before too. I got like quarter of a way through a game. But yeah, I don't see where, and I mean video games are bigger than Hollywood. They're bigger than sports. It's like I don't see where this if Unity is the Unity is the only platform that does this. Like you can't make advanced games on Roblox like you can with
Yeah.
Unity. So I don't really see like I mean this thing is going to be inserted into a hundred, maybe one day $1 trillion industry.
Well, the biggest competitor really is Unreal, and the Unreal Engine, but it's a
Yeah,
much more difficult platform to use
and it's
than
not publicly
Unity is.
traded.
Yeah. And so that creates kind of a difference, I guess you might say.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then, I mean, and Roblox has been a really, performing, high performing stock. I don't know. Are you long this? Are you have any position in it? Have you traded this at all, Jeffrey? Because, I mean, look at this
It,
tear recently. I mean, that's just the
yeah,
cliff.
the tear recent. I've been waiting for it to make that long-term bottom,
Yeah.
and that's what it's working on right now. And actually, the people that own Fortnite own Unreal Engine,
Oh,
so
really?
that's Epic Games.
Oh, okay.
Epic. Let's see. I can't remember what
Epic,
if they're public or not.
Epic Games. Doesn't look like it. There's
And
got
they may
chat.
still be private, but that's
Yeah.
the people that own Fortnite and I was trying to look at what else they run. But that is Epic Games, and they're the creators of Unreal Engine. So that's the competitor to Unity, I feel like, instead of Roblox. And they do have a, animation and all sorts of stuff in Unreal Engine. So it is a solid competitor. It's just not as I don't know. It's different.
Yeah, well, you can't trade Unreal Engine. So like what other what other platforms can you? And I was really just going with gaming stocks, right? I mean, you can go to EA, which I guess is gaming stock too, but I don't I think EA sucks.
Well, EA's more the, EA's kind of gone the route of buying up all these smaller development houses. So a lot of these
Yeah.
smaller development houses, use Unreal Engine and Unity, and there's a couple other ones that they use as their tools to build their game. And once they start getting a little bit of popularity, then along comes EA and they're like, "Hey, I like you, and we're gonna buy you up." Or Microsoft does the same thing. Microsoft Studios, they come along and buy up these small gaming, game creations just to buy the IP. That's the intellectual property, and then they roll it into their portfolio, and then squash it. Usually is what happens.
Yeah, make it horrible.
We've seen this happen over and over and over with all sorts of franchises. My family has it, near and dear to Fallout, and they,
Mm,
after Microsoft bought it out, it's just not the same anymore. So
that was Bethesda, right?
yeah, Bethesda.
Yeah. It's actually up by me in Bethesda, Maryland. I didn't, that's like a funny place to have like a video game studio. Um, but because there's so much government stuff around here. It's just random. Um, yeah, Fallout was great back in the day. Hopefully maybe they'll do a remake. Like they did for Oblivion.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Like I said, my family can't wait for, I guess, Fallout 5 or whatever might be coming down the pipe. But
Yeah.
the online thing just not that great.
Yeah, I don't really play online games at all. But we do have I guess we kind of have in a lower highs or higher lows, I mean, on EA. It does seem like it's yeah, I don't know, maybe trending up.
Yeah, potential bottom. Like it's all of this seems to have gotten beat down a little bit here the last little bit. EA's been on this long-term consolidation sideways since 2021, so they haven't really done really great coming out
No.
of COVID.
Yeah, even this recent move is just kind of hitting up here, which is, you know,
It just brought more volatility because the break up brought a bigger swing down. So
yeah.
it's tough to call a bottom there. And then, but Microsoft, on the other hand, even though they're letting go a bunch of their development people, actually rocking and rolling higher. So kind of wild to see that
Yeah,
for me.
most of those layoffs were in the game department, I think.
Yeah. And is that because of AI? I don't know. Quite possibly they're automating a lot of the tedious stuff and just focusing on their core developers to keep the platforms moving forward. But that one could go on up to 564 Microsoft right there. But as far as a wheel goes, you would need some sort of pullback to load up, and we could retest the breakout there at 468 that we had. 468 being the high from last summer. We got a big deep pullback, and then we've just gone straight vertical off of that April
We really
pullback.
have, man. That's crazy.
And for something that's the the second biggest company in the world right now, going straight up like that is just unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I that chart that might be steeper than Nvidia's even. I just kind of want to see.
Almost the same.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, Nvidia has some. I guess we weren't going back to April, were we? But yeah, I mean, wow, that's crazy, man. I don't know. I don't know. Um, well, so folks, but Unity is just to cap that up. I like Unity. If it does come back down to I'm not gonna try and I'm definitely not gonna go long here. I wouldn't mind like I mean August you can get some kind of 31 here. Past is $30. You can get some decent premium, 130, 166. Um, so I'm gonna go. I might do that. I think I'd be willing about to own Unity around here. Somewhere
Yeah.
in the 30 to 27 range. I mean, we had multiple tests of this price, and we finally got a breakout. So I do think, whereas this was a resistance line, it might turn into a support zone now that we're over it.
Another chart that you might want to pull up, same sector, same NTDOY.
Oh yeah, of course.
This one right here in a pullback and maybe at support.
Yeah,
Now this one's
bump at
OTC
50.
and a little bit more difficult to do options and stuff, but this could be a nice performer. Their new Switch 2 just selling like hotcakes.
Yeah, yeah, that thing sold out, right?
Yeah, it's the fastest console to sell out as many units as it has in history.
Oh wow, that's crazy. What makes it
Yeah,
so good?
that just their popularity and they're just hitting on all cylinders right now. It's
Yeah,
it's a portable console that you can carry around and then plug into a TV and
yeah,
play anywhere you are. And I think they've really, instead of focusing on cell phones and stuff, they focused on this platform that just made it easy to carry around and use and play with other people. And
yeah.
versus like Steam hasn't having the same sort of thing they've produced, but theirs just isn't as friendly at playing with other people as much as Nintendo. So
Yeah, I was thinking about either getting a Switch maybe eventually or a Steam Deck to play on the plane. That's when I play video games mostly. I'm just on a plane, just like slamming Civ 6 or something.
yeah, I love my Steam Deck, but my kids love their Switches. So
Yeah.
you look at it, we've bought like 4 or 5 Switches. And I have older kids too. My youngest is 19 right now, so my kids love their Switches, and I love my Steam Deck. So
Nice. Nice. Yeah. Well, so Nintendo, I don't know. I guess I'm curious just what
yeah, since it's an
they know
OTC, we
options.
can't really do options because the OTC stock here is more of a Japanese listed stock, but we just
Yeah.
happen to have a US listing for it.
It's kind of at all-time highs, even with this pullback. Maybe going higher though. Just buy shares.
Yeah, I mean, this is like I said, this one really hitting on all cylinders right now, and we could have some further upside going here for Nintendo.
Yeah.
When I run a little fib line for the last retrace, we could be looking at maybe somewhere in the 30 area, another 50% higher. So
That's a good, that's a lot of chart.
yeah, I mean, like I said, this is if you want to look at one that has potential upside here, even though it's an OTC stock, this
What
Nintendo
retrace are
has.
you taking it from?
Uh, I went from the 2021 high through the 2023 low
I got you.
right there.
Yeah.
And then looking at the extension up off there, and we just hit the 1618, but we could push it up to the 200% extension of that pullback very easily.
I know my charts aren't the same as yours, but that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, 200% puts it up right around 30, which is just above that red zone you've got on there.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. All right, folks. So let us know if you're long Nintendo. I know some of you play. I know some of you played a Nintendo before watching this. If Mark's saying Microsoft's bigger than Apple now, that is crazy. Apple is just a horrible company in terms of FANG companies at this point. I don't know what they're doing. I think they're going to replace Tim Cook soon.
I think they need a new visionary, and we talked about that with Jack before. It just Apple's just not like they don't have the visionary right now to produce
No.
to get everybody hyped up and onto the next new hot thing. And they've dabbled in cars, they've dabbled in this, they've dabbled in that. Their VR headset thing, kind of a flop. You would have thought they learned from Meta that Meta poured billions into the metaverse, and then it kind of flopped. So you would think that they'd learned that lesson, but no, they went on down the rabbit hole, and they're paying the paying the piper now. Um, of
Yeah.
course, Meta not up in the, I guess they're at number 9, but they're not in the top 5 as far as market cap goes either. So, they did pay the price for taking that misstep into the metaverse. I think Apple's kind of paying that price for taking the step that direction too. Um,
Yeah,
I do think there is a world or a use for um, augmented reality, but it needs to be something like the glasses you and I wear. Facebook going down that road a little bit, but you know, like it or love it or not, but there could be a wealth of information if you're walking around and you can just see information about things as you're just walking around. And that kind of augmented reality. Unfortunately, that also brings ads that are going to follow you around too. So location-based ads, but that would be huge money over, just getting it on your phone. So I don't know.
or giant binocular headsets like Apple. I don't know what Apple like was trying to do with the headsets. I just yeah, I mean look, they're lagging. We trade Apple. We just do premium trades on Apple every week, and it's just like it's just so my folks who do are in like Lazy Traders Club will know it's just Apple's a nothing burger. It's just
It's
it's
stuck in the mud right now and has the
so
potential to
boring.
pull back even further.
I
So
know. I know. I mean, I'm still predicting that we hit again this 170. I could see us doing the 170 lows again. I just they're behind on everything. They're behind on everything. Whether it's the cars, the Tesla comes out, Rivian comes out, then Apple's like, oh, we'll make a car too. And it's like, oh, the AI starts hitting. They're like, oh, we'll make an AI too. But unlike Meta, they don't really have I don't think they have a strong acquisition. Everything has to kind of be Apple branded. They don't have a strong acquisition model like Meta does. Mark Zuckerberg is just like, well, I'm just going to own Meta, and then we'll have Instagram, we'll have WhatsApp. We're going to keep the same brands. I'm just going to pay, $100 billion for it. We'll have it, and then it's ours forever.
yeah.
Apple's just Apple like if they do buy something, I know they do, I'm not sure how much Apple actually does acquire, but if they do acquire, it has to be like it has to be rebranded into the Apple ecosystem. It's kind of their crutch because they can't or it's kind of like their Achilles heel. They can't actually just buy an Instagram and it's with something with brand viability with already proven success. Or they need
But
to
you,
innovate. So either one, they can't do either one.
but you
So
look at it, Google built a platform, and like most people that have an Apple device will still Google things. We still refer to searching as Googling.
right, it's literally become a verb.
you know, Apple doesn't have that platform. I mean, they have the App Store, but they don't have that platform that everybody goes to. Meta's got Facebook and they've got Instagram and they've got, WhatsApp. They've got those platforms. And, Microsoft, they've got their gaming system and they've got the software on virtually everything. I mean, most people that use Apple still use like Word and Excel and stuff like that too. So all these other companies have got their foot into Apple's ecosystem instead of Apple having this platform that people come back to. And so it's kind of an interesting. They've stuck on the hardware, but they haven't really expanded out to these other software things that outside of their ecosystem. Like you said, they kind of built this moat around their ecosystem, and they don't let anybody in, and they don't reach out to other platforms to try to pull people over either. So it's kind
Hmm.
of an interesting strategy they've taken over the years.
Yeah. I mean, they predicated on hardware innovation and they haven't done that. So I don't really know what they do. They're not going to be coming out with good hardware. Um, so, one thing I wanted to talk about, because I know you got something near and dear to your heart to talk about today with this.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, is look, day trading, right? Um, right? We all love day trading. Uh,
Hmm.
how do you do it? What are the setups? So I'm going to go ahead and start this because mine's fairly simple and it really won't take long to get through. And then I want you to go into yours, but I'll show you how I do it because I do trade. Now I trade futures using this strategy. So, but I'll show you how to do it if you want to trade options. So basically, there's two main strategies I use. So one of them is, I'll start with the one that works sometimes, other times is not the greatest. So it's called the orb strategy or opening range breakouts. Basically is when you take the first 30 minutes of the markets, so right here, and you build a box around it, right? Of the highs and the lows for that period. And then um, when it breaks below or above this box, you either go long or short. Okay, this is a fairly well-known strategy, opening range breakout. Uh, Now again, like I said, I trade futures, so it's really buy or sell to when I do it. But if you do want to say you want to trade SPY, right? So this is SPX, but you can do this. It would look, basically the same with SPY, just different numbers on the left here. You could do basically you buy, so you set up, hey, well, let's go to actually, you know what? Let's go to SPY just so I can show you what it looks like on SPY. I mean, you could do it on SPX too, but SPY is cheaper. So let's go over here. We'll establish the same price range, 30-minute opening range. And so what you do is what I do is I look, okay, the price here on this low range should actually be down here, is 62.88.44, and we have 60.29.47. So I'll usually take either an at the money or in the slightly, or basically, yeah, at the money, maybe in the money call or put option contract, depending on where it is. In this case, if I was going long, I would go 629. In this case, I would go 628. So basically, you tee up that order, and when it does break out, you can just buy the at the money option, whether it's a call or a put, right? In this case, it broke down. It broke down below this. Um, and with confirmation, I would have probably entered here just to wait for confirmation. Because also we have the crossover happening on the 9 and the 20. But and then you would just open the option contract, and you want to have your profit target and everything. But that's the entries that I use to uh do it, to trade like SPX or trade futures, which is ME. I trade MES. Um, Now sometimes though, and what's this orb strategy is good for a day like today. What's been happening recently and some of these days is that this hasn't really been giving me many signals, because sometimes price will just it's been popping up. Um, it's been popping up at the open, and then it hasn't really. It's kind of just been like up and down, sort of in that opening range area. Um, but like so there's entries, but it's never actually getting. I'm not having strong confirmations on my opening range either way to really use that as a signal. So what I've been I still want to trade. So what you can also do is, I mean, it's very simple. It's very simple. I literally just look for when the price, if I'm going short, when it crosses below the 9, which is the red line, and it's between the 9 and the 20, and the 20 is that orange line here. I start like setting up, getting ready for an entry. When it breaks below, I go short, right? When I get that crossover, that means the trend is solidified, and I stay in. Depending on what your profit target is, you stay in, and then you can use these as resistance lines. Yeah, this is VWAP. So this is VWAP. VWAP is also useful again because if you have the VWAP, you can see how the price is bouncing both below the 9, right? It's bouncing up below the 9, also bouncing below VWAP. If it starts crossing up above, for instance, you can see here it started crossing right in the middle. So the trend was stronger. It was below the 9. It started getting into the middle between the 9 and the 20, consolidated, and then it did cross over the 20. Plus, it's moving up on the VWAP, getting closer to that mid range there. So, and so basically, if you in again, I usually will make like one trade a day, unless the volatility is super high. But like this trade was really good today. But if I see this later in the day, which is 11:45, unless like something is happening and there's like significant, candlestick action, I have found in my experience that the less trades you make on the day with this is better, just because you're going to start chasing tinier and tinier profits, because a lot of the trend is set. It sort of, gets itself out, and then it's just kind of peters for the rest of the day, and maybe you have some later day action, but I just don't feel like really watching it often later in the day. Nice. Bob said he does that 30-minute opening range, made a quick profit today on 10 SPX contracts, sold a near the money credit call spread out in half hour. Nice. Okay. So yeah, you can do different strategies. You don't have to buy like regular call or put. You can structure your spreads just based on that price analysis. Bill, I'm not sure what you're saying about cap. What is cap? Explain. Um, but uh, but yeah, that's how I do it. I know Jeffrey probably has another setup, maybe something more technical. So how do you do these zero DTE?
So the fib pattern I just went through is the same trade I do.
Hmm. There you go. Oh, and let me say before you get to that, you can do zero DTEs on those options, zero DTE or one date expiration. Again, I do futures, but you can do one or zero.
So right here on SPY, I have, the same pattern that I look for all the time. I've actually coded up some algorithms that actually watch for this pattern. Watch for the high, watch for the low, dipping below my roadmap line, my signature indicator. And when we get that bounce off of there, comes back up through the 618 level, like I talked about, we get that entry. We have to have the candle close above the 618. And it sets up this high probability trade that's 74% likely to hit that 1.1448, which is 90% of the way to the 1272 right there. Why did I add the 1448 target? It's because it ups the win rate from 70% at the 1272 to 74%, almost 75% at that 1448. For a high probability trade, I like that little extra juice getting 90% of the way there. And, when we were setting this up for years, it seemed like we would get almost to the target, just a little bit shy. But what was a little bit shy? And I spent a lot of time and effort trying to find out what's the fuzzy zone there for the target for the 1272. And it turned out that 90% of the way there worked the best. It was the best bang for the buck. You got the most reward for the best incremental gain in win rate.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I went with that. And that's now my default target for this strategy. So we get in here and we get out up here. Now, it sucks to have to watch a 1-minute chart all day long waiting for this setup to occur. So what I did was I automated the whole darn thing. And now I get automated alerts that tell me that even actually pick out the option and
Really?
recommend it.
Automated. That's
It
sick.